Do you know much about Uganda? Well, maybe some of you have heard that there's a country like that in Africa, and that's probably all. It doesn't stand out in terms of size, population, or any major landmarks. However, there's one interesting feature about this country. Uganda is a country where a lot of things depend on bananas. Yes, of course, bananas are eaten all over the continent, but here they're not just food, they're the very backbone of life. They grow more bananas here than anywhere else in Africa, and they're eaten in such quantities that it's hard to imagine daily life without them. For most Ugandans, this fruit is like rice in many Asian countries, like corn in Mexico, or olive oil in Greece. But there's a downside to this dependency on one product, namely tons of banana waste pile up every day in different corners of the country. And these mountains of waste just keep growing, polluting the environment and turning into a real ecological problem. For example, farmers started dumping piles of banana waste in the forests. However, what happened next was something no one expected, and it's very likely that this could completely change the way we think about waste and ecosystem restoration. To start with, it should be said that bananas aren't just a sweet fruit we're used to seeing on store shelves. They're one of the most important products on the global market. Just think about it. 1 in every 6 fruits produced in the world is a banana. Bananas rank second in production volume among all fruits, just behind citrus, and the demand for them is growing every day. The thing is, the world's population is rapidly increasing, and eating habits are changing. More and more people around the world are looking for affordable, nutritious, and versatile products, and bananas fit perfectly into this role. These yellow fruits are mostly grown in the tropics, but their popularity is spread worldwide. They now rank 4th in importance globally, right after giants like rice, wheat, and corn. It's no wonder that an insanely huge number of banana trees are grown all around the world. Just think about it. There are more than 25 billion of them. And of course, many of them are found in Africa. And this is where we come back to Uganda, the country where the most bananas are grown in Africa. Here it is on the map of the continent, right in its heart, just above Lake Victoria. The country isn't very big, you know. Its area is only 93,000 square miles. But if that still seems impressive, let's compare Uganda to its neighbors. For example, Kenya, which is more than twice the size of Uganda. Its area is 224,000 square miles, and Tanzania's area is almost 386,000 square miles. Not to mention the Democratic Republic of the Congo, one of the biggest countries in Africa, which is almost 10 times larger than Uganda. All these countries share similar climates and natural features, a wide variety of plants and animals, plus high humidity. That's more than enough to grow millions of tons of bananas there. But it's Uganda that leads in this area. In 2023, it produced about 10 million tons of bananas, which made it not only Africa's top producer, but also the second biggest globally, with only India ahead. In Uganda, it wouldn't be a stretch to say there's a cult around bananas. Over 75% of the population depends on them as their main food source, so the dependence on this product is pretty obvious. If that's not convincing enough, here's another example. There's a type of banana grown in Uganda called matoke. In the country, it's basically synonymous with the word food. In Uganda, bananas are used for all kinds of things. They turn ripe fruits into savory dishes, make desserts, juice, wine, beer, and even dehydrated snacks. Every banana is valued here because you can literally make anything out of it. It's hard to believe, but on average, a person in Uganda eats about 2 pounds of bananas a day, and roughly 440 to 660 pounds a year. But bananas aren't just for daily meals, they're also helping tackle global problems. For instance, they're used to make ready-to-eat therapeutic foods that fight malnutrition, one of the biggest health threats to kids and adults in poor regions. Bananas are also pretty important for the country's economy since some of them are exported. In 2022, Uganda made $7.43 million by shipping bananas to other countries, mostly European ones, the UK, Germany, Canada, Belgium, and Switzerland. What's fascinating is that Uganda didn't get such impressive banana production right off the bat, and not so long ago they weren't even considering becoming a leader in this area. But now things are on the rise. And for the government, the perks of growing bananas are crystal clear. This fruit brings in 28% of the nation's revenue. But along with their undeniable benefits, bananas also bring trouble. Harvesting and processing these fruits leads to a huge amount of waste. Tons of bananas end up in landfills, causing all kinds of problems for farmers growing the fruit, collection centers, and marketplaces, not to mention regular folks living in the country. Even though Uganda exports some of its bananas, most of them stay within the country. In Kampala, the capital of Uganda, more than 1,500 tons of trash pile up every day, and the city council just can't manage to collect and process it all. As a result, 3/4 of that trash ends up rotting on sidewalks, streets, and sewers and drainage ditches. If you only think about the peel when it comes to waste, it's not quite like that. Banana waste also includes rejected fruits, leaves, fruit bunch stems, pseudostems, and fibers. One banana plant produces waste that can make up to 80% of its total weight. What's more, there's information that a single banana farm can generate around 220 tons of byproducts or waste per 2 acres per year. The numbers are crazy. Unfortunately, the waste disposal system in Uganda isn't developed enough to handle such large volumes, and given that banana plants are made up of bulky, fibrous plant material, they're especially hard to break down chemically or biologically. But the problem here is not just that waste ruins the appearance of the streets and rots everywhere. It's much more serious than that. These wastes harm not only people, but also nature itself. Once on a landfill, a banana peel starts to decompose, and tiny organisms called methanogens are involved in this process. These microorganisms feed on the trash and, as a result, release methane. As a result, the banana peel, transformed into methane, combines with other substances on the landfill to form what's known as landfill gas. Things could be much simpler if the energy situation in Uganda were just a little better. But unfortunately, the country faces serious problems in this area. Uganda has one of the lowest levels of electricity access, especially in rural areas where most of the banana plantations are located. Only 2 to 3% of the rural population can rely on stable access to electricity. This creates real difficulties not only for farmers, but for the entire agricultural sector, which depends on a steady and affordable energy supply. Moreover, to process banana waste and tackle the environmental issues related to it, modern technologies need to be implemented. One such solution could be using solar panels, which can easily generate the amount of energy needed for industrial processing. However, for most Ugandan farmers, this remains an unattainable dream. They face limited financial resources, which prevents them from investing in such expensive solutions. In the end, farmers have no other choice but to just throw away these leftovers, like dumping huge piles of banana waste right into the forest. And here we come to the most interesting part, to what no one could have ever thought of. With no effective system for processing excess fruits, farmers are starting to realize that bananas can be of use. It turned out that banana peels and other banana waste left in the fields or forests start to break down and improve the soil structure, as well as speed up plant growth. Over time, farmers started noticing that forests where banana peels and other parts were regularly thrown became greener and more fertile, and the banana waste acted as a natural compost that restored the soil, enriching it with nutrients. This process turned out to be so effective that forests near farms began to be used as places for organic waste disposal. Banana waste, including peels and leaves, served as natural fertilizer for trees and plants, promoting their rapid and healthy growth. This process turned out to be beneficial for both nature and agriculture, creating a sustainable and eco-friendly solution to the recycling problem. However, farmers have been intentionally using banana waste for a while, though they didn't dump it into the woods. There are 2 main methods for composting banana waste, each with its own pros and cons. The first is composting in a pit, or anaerobic composting. The second method is composting in piles, or aerobic composting. Also, with any composting method, you can use some legal cheats. Throw in bird manure, cow manure, and earthworms to the compost. This speeds up decomposition and improves the overall quality. The compost isn't the only useful way to use banana waste. In Uganda, they are actively turning it from an environmental problem into an economic opportunity. For example, Ugandans process banana stems into fibers, which are used to make durable textile and craft products. Yes, traditionally, banana fibers are extracted by hand. It's a long and labor-intensive process that isn't suited for large-scale production. However, a startup called TexFad has come up, partnering with farmers who provide the company with banana stems. And here's the interesting part. Farmers are starting to realize the value of their waste, earning extra income and producing more than 27,000 square feet of rugs every year. Here's how it works. The company, TexFad, where a team of 30 craftsmen works at the factory, buys banana stems at $2.70 per 2 pounds of dried fiber, which will be woven into a rug. But not all of the banana plant stem goes into processing, only its inner part is used, and the rest is returned to the farmers to become organic fertilizer. This creates a genuine closed-loop system of sustainable production. Banana waste is good for more than just rugs. Local artisans have started experimenting with producing biodegradable hair extensions and fabric that feels like cotton, which is ideal for the fashion industry. The banana material is also transformed into vegan leather, used for shoes, belts, purses, plastic bags, and wallets. And this not only solves the problem with banana tree waste, but also helps tackle unemployment. Almost 77% of Uganda's population is under 25, and the country has one of the highest youth unemployment rates in Africa. The banana fiber sector helps create jobs for youth in Uganda by offering professional training, skill building, and business incubation, speeding up employment throughout the country. Young people who've taken part in the training programs of the TexFad startup are now supporting the local tourism industry with innovative handmade products. The organization has already trained over 400 young people. So things in Uganda are getting better and better. The country's economy grew by 6.8% in the first 6 months of 2022, up from 3.7% in the same period of the previous fiscal year. This growth was driven in part by agriculture and forestry. Uganda is now on track to achieve a 5.3% growth for the entire fiscal year. The country is aiming to expand the production of eco-friendly products by mechanizing part of the process while keeping more than 60% of the work manual. By focusing on large-scale production of banana fiber products, Uganda plans to become a center of excellence for sustainable, eco-friendly product manufacturing in Africa. And don't forget, the Ugandans have found a new way to make forests more fertile by using waste. This is sure to impact economic growth, too. By the way, Uganda's neighbors aren't falling behind in using banana fibers. In a village in Rwanda surrounded by banana trees, they decided to make the most of the byproducts of the banana trees. The village chief and some British students came up with an unusual solution to develop a way to turn the trunks of banana trees into fibers, which are dried, mixed with paste, and processed. As a result, they create sanitary towels and diapers. The women of Rwanda are grateful as they could almost never afford expensive imported hygiene products, and there are plenty of banana trees around. No need to import anything, it's all right there. This solution's also cheap and easy to produce, even in large volumes. This is environmental engineer Steve Jechow, who's been producing biochar since 2020, fighting deforestation. To make it, Steve collects banana peels and other biomass available in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon, where up to 40 tons of it can be gathered every day. In his workshop, he produces about 3 tons of biochar per month. On top of that, Steve runs waste recycling courses, helping local people develop their skills. Even though the renewable energy sector in Africa accounts for less than 2.4% of jobs, Steve's work is setting the stage for future progress. This all sounds great, but bananas, it turns out, have a problem that could deprive forests of fertilizer, craftspeople of fibers, and African women of hygiene products. Bananas use more agrochemicals than any other crop in the world except for cotton, and that's because bananas are constantly under attack from diseases. Banana plantations are monocultures, meaning they grow just one type of crop, nothing else. At least 97% of bananas sold on the global market are from a single variety, Cavendish. This lack of genetic diversity makes the plants extremely vulnerable to pests, fungi, and diseases. That's why large amounts of insecticides and other chemicals are used on the crops. Also, bananas get sprayed with more chemicals compared to other tropical fruits because they have thick peel. In some of the rainiest regions where the risk of diseases is the highest, some plantation owners end up spending more on agrochemicals than, say, on paying their workers. Is there a solution to save valuable crops? Yes, it's the growing field of agricultural biotechnology. Scientists in Uganda are working on creating a new generation of genetically modified bananas. In labs, samples are placed in test tubes for processing, where cutting-edge technology enriches the bananas with vitamin A and makes them more resistant to diseases and pests, which wipe out a big chunk of the harvest every year, and drought just makes things worse. So Ugandan farmers' problems might soon come to an end. Scientists are running thorough tests to make sure the new plants will be dependable and productive. Besides, numerous studies reveal great opportunities for even more efficient banana farming. Enhanced bananas could not only resist rot and tough environment, but also be used to create all sorts of products, from flour to chips. One important thing to keep in mind, though, these technologies need government support to make a difference. Approved policies and guarantees could help attract investments and speed up industry growth. And honestly, that shouldn't be a problem for Uganda, a country that practically lives off bananas.